Do hey 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 everybody, this is Jasmine coming back with you for another book review. Coming back to you with another book review. Woo! So hope everybody's doing well out there, and we are coming to another book review. Um, so the purpose of this channel is to create and cultivate a space where healthy relationship skills can be learned, developed, practiced, and ultimately to thrive. And the way that I do this is by reviewing a book that can help you develop one of the skills that you may need to know in your life personally or professionally. So, the book that I have today is called Do Less. It is by author Kate Northrup. It is a revolutionary approach to time and energy management for ambitious women. Author Kate Northrup, and it is 215 pages. This book is a must have. Now, it does talk about women. Her primary market, her target audience is women, but men can read this book and gain something from this book too. If nothing else, you can learn how to understand your woman a little bit better. So let's get right into this review. So what I normally do is do 3 takeaways, and I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed on this one because I was so uptight trying to get the 3 points across. I have notes, and I'm not going to be afraid to use them because guess what? It's all good. So I have 3 takeaways for this. So for the first takeaway, one thing the author provides is that there is global evidence, data for doing less. Data, hard data. And I'm excited to talk about this one because it's data from different, or data. You say potato, I say patata, data from other countries. But I was so excited to read this data set or this research point. I'm so excited. So I'm hoping that this will happen one day in the United States. So, like I am a news reporter. So, for example, Sweden is moving towards a national standard of a 6-hour workday for the well-being of its workers. I think the national standard for Sweden, I think I can get down with that. So there's global evidence for doing less. In a revolutionary era, we had the industrial era, and we had now it's the knowledge based era, where there's so much coming at us. People think that they have to do so much more. You always being productive is being busy. Being productive is putting the most out, going. So the approach to do less, it seems counterproductive, or it is counterintuitive to how our minds, and then how we've been conditioned as human beings, as we've been conditioned as many people. Especially, I live in the United States, so as many American mindsets, or the mentality as an American. So the second point, which is so very revolutionary to me, and I understand why she says it's a revolutionary approach, is that time management for women, it can be based on our cycle versus a 28-day cycle. Yes, when I say cycle, it means our period cycle. So the author provides a different approach to time management. And what I got from this is that I'm actually learning it, but really understanding that the 24-hour daily to-do list, that was based on more of the male perspective, 24 hours, because we're wired differently. So she provides us with a way of tracking the way that our cycles, the 28-day cycle, and like looking at it from an approach for being in different phases. So instead of always going, there are times when we need to rest, regroup, rethink, but we can do it according to the natural cycle that we already have. But as long as we're more aware, if we're more aware of what that is, and as it's going on, we can track our progress, or we can put our progress towards a more natural cycle. So if I'm in the phase where I need to rest and relax and to be more introverted. I am an extrovert, but if I need to be more introverted or be more quiet, I can use that as a way to regroup, refill my tank, also think and not feel bad that I should be out there posting something or always in the phase that I need to always be on, so to speak, or I always need to be in the limelight, because there is an approach to putting content together. So if I'm never really giving careful thought to it, I'm actually being counterproductive. So being busy and always being on isn't always the key, but being able to look at my natural cycle as something that is not something that's taboo and a topic that I'm not supposed to discuss, one, with myself, much less with anybody else, but follow the more natural cycle that I've already been given and become more productive because I'm following a cycle that's better suited for myself and for what I need and for what ultimately I need to have accomplished. So it's not simply me focused where forget everybody else and it's all about me, but understanding my cycle and my rhythm more to the point of, okay, once I'm working on projects, once I'm working with other people, once I'm working with so many different things as a businesswoman or as a co-worker with my colleagues, with if I'm a business owner, whatever the case is, if we are all these things, there is a cycle or there's a style that I can adjust to, we can adapt ourselves to make ourselves more productive as opposed to being counterproductive, but still being busy. Because how many people are busy, and you know what it's like to be busy, but when we talk about busy and productivity, there can be three different conversations going on. So that's the second takeaway. It's the time management system based on a woman's cycle versus the 24-hour cycle. And then the third takeaway that I have for this is simply experiment. They have the best experiments. She has the best experiments in this book. And what I really like about this is that the word experiment, it provided me with a psychological readiness to say, like, okay, so I don't have to do it perfect. I'm learning and I'm growing. So I'm going to read you some of the experiments that stood out to me. One, asking for help, and two, receiving help. Those two in of itself. As women, we were designed to receive. But as superwomen, or as women who have to have it all together and have to get it all done, normally it's taken or it's been seen or perceived as if we have to ask for help, there's something wrong with us. We shouldn't have to ask for help. Or if we're not that person, or if we can get it done, we can just get it done. Why ask for help? So changing that perspective, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Even if I can do it all myself, I may be able to do it all myself, but asking for help allows people to contribute. And people aren't going to just bring in their help, or they're not going to barge their way into helping me. But when I am contributing to someone else because they've asked, I feel connected. And ultimately, we want to be connected to other people. But if you don't need help, if I don't need help, if I never ask for help, I'm not connecting with other people. And that doing less approach is not being taken into account or consideration, because I'm doing it all. But if I learn how to ask for help, I'm doing less, but I'm getting more done because other people are able to contribute. And the other part is that I'm connecting with others. I have some family helping me out with these videos. Not only are they helping me, one thing I get to do is talk to them more because we're connecting. So me asking for help is one thing, but to be able to receive help is another thing. I could listen to them and say, like, well, that's not how I want to do it. Okay, so do you want the help or not? Like, some things are just really basic, pretty simple. Like, I can ask someone for help, but I have to also be willing to receive the help that I'm being given. The one other thing that I was really excited about was streamlining my to-do list. It's not to say do less, but I have started, and I've done different time management systems or different time management ways of handling what I need to get done, but she suggests that you use a weekly to do. So maybe on a Sunday evening, and I know other authors, and I've heard this before, but again, being able to look at the week and put the week in a schedule that is hopeful for you to scan what's going on. That in of itself has been very helpful, because instead of having multiple days of multiple to-dos, I wrote down a list of things that I wanted to get accomplished that week. And what was different about it was that I didn't even put that pressure on to say, okay, you got to do it this day. It's like, okay, throughout this week, sometime, this is what I would like to get done. And without even having to always go on the list, I found myself doing what I knew was on the list because I had already written it down. And it was almost like, oh yes, I know I need to do this. So it was good to know that this is on my list of things to do that I want to get accomplished. And that was the other thing. I wasn't simply just doing it to say, oh, I just want to do this. They were in alignment with the goals that I have for life. So that was good. Another experiment was surrender. Not having to, again, try to control everything. There was one, men, you would not need to do this, but you could be in the connection with your boo or your woman, tracking your cycle. Enough said. The other part of an experiment was simplify. Simply, and I'm actually looking, so I'm going to ask for your help. If you know anyone who has a brand that creates bracelets, I want to get one, or a necklace. I want to have it to say simplify. So if you have any thoughts on that, please share with me, or if you can make it, please share with me in the comment below, or send me an email. I would love to be able to do that. So simplify, making things simpler. I'm actually going. You may have heard of a project called Project 333, and I'm preparing in the month of June to start that. So simplify. The final 3 practices or experiments that I want to talk about is making sleep a spiritual practice, manage your energy, and become a time bender. All of these experiments I was able to go through as I read through the book. Sleep, I do make that a spiritual practice. It's like I believe in the power of sleep. And then becoming a time bender, that in of itself is like maximizing the time. Obviously, we all have 24 hours, but to be able to bend the 24-hour in our favor as opposed to not be in our favor, that was a huge element. And then managing your energy. We all have this energy, and I've been learning about feminine energy and masculine energy, and we all have both. But the feminine energy is more of the receptive, and the it's not that one is better or worse than the other. It's being able to understand the different types of energies that we have and being able to utilize it. So if I'm only using one, I'm not using the other one, and I'm not being able to be as powerful as I could be, because it's like the yin and yang. You need both, and you need the positive and the negative. You need the positive neutrons and the negative neutrons, and maybe neurons. So I'm saying that incorrectly, but you need A and B. You need both and in order to do the harmony, not simply the balance, but the harmony and the harmonious structure, like our lives are lived. We have night and day. We have right and left. So being able to have that tightrope walk of living and understanding that I have emotions that are positive and I have emotions that are negative, not in the sense of bad or good, but I have some that are beneficial and I have some that don't benefit me well, but I can navigate through life with both of them. So the author brings a special word for everybody in Do Less. So Kate Northrup, she's the author, and I highly recommend this book. It's provided so many ways that I have been able to honor myself as a woman and shift social conditioning around getting things done. Being able to see that a very taboo topic of my period is a major way that I can become more productive was so mind-blowing, and have been able to accomplish so much by adjusting how I manage my time around my body's natural cycle. It's so precious because this hasn't been an experiment in perfection. I love that it's called Experiments. It's just really, really helpful for us to see that we are the experiment managers of our life. So why not take that time to experiment and to learn and grow, see what works, have a curiosity about our life. So I highly recommend Do Less. And again, if you have any books that or anything that you feel like you would want to see reviewed, please send a comment and or send me an email. And the type of books that I review are books that are nonfiction and that will help us create and cultivate a space that we can have healthy relationship skills. So if there's anything that we can learn, improve, and grow in our healthy relationship skills, that's what I'll be interested in reviewing. And I really appreciate you stopping by and listening to this book review. And as always, be the best you can be.